This is the story of NATALEE HOLLOWAY, who went to Aruba on May 26, 2005, along with 124 of her classmates. They had just graduated from Mountain Brook High School, and this trip was planned to celebrate their graduation. It was a 5-day trip, and the students were accompanied by 7 adult chaperones to help keep an eye on them during the vacation. But on May 30th, something happened to NATALEE that shocked America for the next 20 years. What exactly happened to NATALEE that day? And where did she suddenly disappear? So let me explain this case to you in full detail, step by step, beginning with who NATALEE was. NATALEE HOLLOWAY was born on October 21, 1986, in Clinton, Mississippi. After her parents divorced in 1993, she and her younger brother, Matthew, were raised by their mother, Beth Holloway, in Clinton. In 2000, her mother got married again, and the family moved to Mountain Brook. NATALEE quickly adjusted to her new life and continued to do well. She graduated with honors on May 24, 2005, from Mountain Brook High School. After graduation, it was a long-standing tradition for Mountain Brook High School seniors to take a group trip. In 2005, the students chose Aruba as their destination. The trip was planned in advance by the students and their parents, though it wasn't officially sponsored by the school. On the morning of May 26, 2005, NATALEE and her classmates flew out from Birmingham, Alabama. After a layover in Atlanta, they landed in Aruba that afternoon. They checked into the Holiday Inn at Palm Beach, a popular tourist spot, ready to enjoy their 5-day vacation in paradise. For the first few days, NATALEE and her classmates soaked up the sun, enjoyed the beach, and partied at night. They spent their days swimming and exploring, and their nights celebrating freedom with drinks and visits to local clubs. NATALEE drank heavily during the trip, starting many mornings with cocktails and continuing into the night. 2 of her classmates, Liz Kane and Claire Fearman, later described the drinking as kind of excessive. NATALEE even missed breakfast on 2 mornings because of it. The students enjoyed the sun and parties for the first few days, but everything changed on the 4th night. On the evening of May 29th, NATALEE went out with friends to a popular nightclub called Carlos and Charlie's. The club was lively, filled with music, dancing, and tourists from around the world. During the night, NATALEE met a local teenager named Joran van der Sloot, who was known on the island. As the night went on, NATALEE was seen leaving the club around 1:30 a.m. on May 30th with Joran and 2 of his friends, Deepak and Satish Kalpo. They all got into a silver Honda together. This was the last confirmed sighting of NATALEE HOLLOWAY. The next morning, NATALEE did not show up for the group's flight home. At first, NATALEE's friends thought she had simply overslept or stepped out for a quick breakfast. But as the hours passed, worry began to grow. Chaperones searched the hotel, called her name in the halls, and asked the staff if they had seen her. Her passport, luggage, and personal belongings were still in her hotel room, but NATALEE was nowhere to be found. By the evening of May 30th, her disappearance had been reported to Aruban police. Back in Alabama, NATALEE's mother, Beth Holloway, received the terrifying news and acted immediately. Along with her husband, Jug Twitty, and a few close friends, she boarded a private jet and flew straight to Aruba. They landed on the island within hours. Without waiting for the authorities, Beth and Jug went directly to the Holiday Inn, where NATALEE had been staying. There, they got a crucial lead. The night manager recognized the young man NATALEE had left the nightclub with, and provided his full name and address. That name was Joran van der Sloot, a 17-year-old Dutch honors student who lived on the island. With this new information in hand and no time to waste, they decided to confront Joran directly. Beth, Jug, and 2 Aruban police officers went straight to the van der Sloot home. Joran initially denied even knowing NATALEE's name. But soon, with Deepak Kalpo present, he gave a story. That the 3 of them, Joran, Deepak, and Satish, had driven NATALEE to the California lighthouse near Arashi Beach because she wanted to see sharks. Then, they claimed, they dropped her off at her hotel around 2:00 a.m. Joran added that NATALEE stumbled as she got out of the car but refused his help. He also said she was approached by a man in a black shirt, possibly a hotel security guard. It was a strange story, and parts of it quickly began to fall apart. Meanwhile, the search for NATALEE exploded into one of the largest the island had ever seen. Hundreds of volunteers from both Aruba and the United States joined in. The Aruban government even gave civil servants the day off to assist. 50 Dutch Marines combed the beaches and coastlines. Helicopters flew overhead, divers scoured the waters, and search dogs were brought in. Banks in Aruba raised $20,000 to support the volunteers. Beth Holloway was given housing near the search center, first at the Holiday Inn and later in the presidential suite of the Wyndham Hotel. Every detail was analyzed. Police tried to verify if NATALEE had returned to the hotel, but she didn't appear on any nighttime security footage. Whether the hotel's cameras were working that night has been debated. Beth Holloway has given conflicting statements over time. Police Commissioner Jan van der Straten, who initially led the investigation, noted that NATALEE could have returned to her room without passing through the lobby. For weeks, searchers followed every lead. At one point, a dark stain found in Deepak Kalpo's car was tested, but it wasn't blood. The investigation was filled with false starts, missing evidence, and constantly changing stories from the suspects. Still, the case gained massive media attention in the United States. News outlets covered it non-stop. Aruba became the center of worldwide focus, and Joran van der Sloot became the name everyone was talking about. In this case, American officials were deeply involved. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice confirmed that the U.S. was in constant contact with Aruban authorities. A State Department representative added, "Substantial resources are being applied to this." But even with all that effort, no physical evidence of NATALEE Holloway was ever found. On June 5, 2005, Aruban police arrested 2 hotel security guards, thinking they might be involved, but they were released a week later without any charges. Then, on June 9th, police arrested Joran van der Sloot and 2 brothers, Deepak and Satish Kalpo. Authorities had been secretly watching them, but NATALEE's family wanted quick action, so the police stopped their surveillance and made the arrests. Things got confusing quickly. On June 11th, an official wrongly said NATALEE was found dead, but later took it back. That same day, one of the suspects hinted that something bad happened to NATALEE on the beach, but nothing came of it. More people were arrested, including a local DJ and even Joran's father, but they were let go soon after. The suspects kept changing their stories. First, they said Joran was alone with NATALEE on the beach and left her there. Then Joran claimed the brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpo took her away. Police didn't trust any of these versions. The Kalpo brothers were let go on July 4th, but Joran stayed in jail for 60 more days as the investigation continued. On July 4th, the Royal Netherlands Air Force even sent 3 F-16 jets equipped with infrared technology, but nothing was found. A local gardener told police he had seen Joran van der Sloot and the Kalpo brothers near the racket club early that morning, acting strangely. Investigators drained a nearby pond based on that tip, but again, nothing turned up. Around the same time, a jogger said she saw men burying a blonde girl in a landfill. That area was searched many times, even with FBI dogs, but no body was ever found. Hoping to find her, NATALEE's family offered a $1 million reward for her safe return and $250,000 just for information leading to her remains. As the weeks dragged on and leads kept coming in, investigators continued to chase every tip, no matter how small. Then, police found a piece of duct tape with blonde hair on it, but after FBI testing, it turned out the hair did not belong to NATALEE. In August 2005, the Kalpo brothers were rearrested along with a new suspect named Freddie Arambatsis, who had a history of inappropriate behavior with underage girls. However, no charges were filed against them, and they were released again in early September, although they were ordered to stay available for questioning. Joran gave different stories in various interviews. In 2006, he said he left NATALEE alone on the beach and felt ashamed for not calling the police. He claimed he thought someone would find her soon. The investigation continued for years, with police and the FBI searching beaches and dunes. In 2006, an Aruban police official said he believed NATALEE died from too much alcohol or drugs, and that her body had been quietly buried. In November 2007, Aruban police rearrested Joran van der Sloot and the Kalpo brothers on suspicion of manslaughter based on new evidence. Joran, who was in the Netherlands at the time, was sent back to Aruba, while NATALEE Holloway's father launched a deep-sea search for his daughter, which was later called off due to a lack of results and funding. By December, all 3 suspects were released due to insufficient evidence, and on December 18, 2007, the case was officially closed, though authorities still believed the suspects were hiding the truth. In 2008, Dutch journalist Peter R. de Vries aired hidden camera footage showing Joran admitting that NATALEE died while with him and that a friend helped dispose of her body. Although the case was briefly reopened, the footage was ruled inadmissible for arrest, and Joran later claimed he was high and lying. Over the years, Joran gave multiple false confessions, including stories involving sex trafficking, all of which were later retracted. Prosecutors criticized the mishandling of evidence, and the case remained unresolved. In 2010, tourists discovered a human jawbone on a beach in Aruba, raising hopes for a breakthrough, but forensic tests confirmed it wasn't NATALEE's. The following year, her father petitioned the court to have NATALEE declared legally dead, which was granted in early 2012. In 2016, he hired a private investigator who followed a tip that led to the discovery of some human bones. DNA tests, however, showed they did not belong to NATALEE. In 2017, a man named Gabriel claimed that Joran's friend, John Ludwig, had confessed to helping dig up and destroy NATALEE's remains in 2010. Ludwig later appeared in a documentary saying he helped Joran cremate the bones, but once again, DNA testing confirmed none of the remains matched NATALEE. In 2018, Ludwig was killed while attempting to kidnap a woman in Florida. In 2023, Joran van der Sloot was temporarily extradited from Peru, where he was already serving a 28-year sentence for the 2010 murder of 21-year-old Stephanie Flores, to the United States. He faced federal charges of wire fraud and extortion for demanding $250,000 from NATALEE's mother, Beth Holloway, in exchange for false information about her daughter's remains. In October 2023, nearly 2 decades after NATALEE's disappearance, Joran finally confessed in a U.S. courtroom. He admitted that NATALEE had rejected his advances, so he struck her in the head with a cinder block, kicked her until she died, and then pushed her body into the ocean. He pleaded guilty to the fraud charges and was sentenced to 20 years in U.S. federal prison. However, this sentence runs concurrently with his Peruvian sentence, meaning he will not serve additional time unless released early. After the sentencing, he was returned to Peru to continue serving his original term. Despite finally revealing the truth, Joran has not been charged with NATALEE's murder due to a lack of physical evidence and the terms of his plea deal. The case, long marked by lies, false leads, and heartbreak, finally reached a grim conclusion nearly 20 years later. Van der Sloot remains imprisoned in Peru until at least 2045. If you found this case as disturbing and heartbreaking as many others have, help keep the memory of NATALEE Holloway alive by sharing her story. Spread awareness about the dangers of false confessions, flawed investigations, and international justice loopholes. And if you or someone you know ever finds themselves in a dangerous or uncertain situation abroad, speak up, stay alert, and always prioritize safety. For more true crime stories that uncover the truth behind headlines, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps bring attention to the victims who still deserve justice.